Well, here in a couple of months, we'll officially be celebrating the 1-year anniversary for Cyberpunk 2077 and that entire debacle. A game that was hyped up for nearly a decade came out and probably had one of the most disastrous launches that I've ever seen, and that's in a world where we have games like Fallout 76, where moldy helmets had to be returned. That should tell you how bad all of this was, but it looks like Cyberpunk 2077 has officially hit the clearance bin, and you know what? It might not be a bad time to pick it up. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So we'll talk about occasionally when a game comes out, some people will say, you know what? I'm going to hold off a bit and see if it goes on sale a couple of months down the road, and that tends to happen, especially with a lot of third-party titles. I have noticed that Sony they're trying to keep their games closer to that $70 value even months after release, but we are even seeing some of their PlayStation 5 exclusive games like Demon's Souls and Returnal, those already going on sale. We know Nintendo, they like to keep their games at full price as long as possible. You even see that with games like Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. When those go on sale, it's a big deal. And like Breath of the Wild came out when the system launched in 2017. But if we head over here, that being to Best Buy, there is a deal of the day running right now. It's going to be running all the way until, I guess, midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. They have a little countdown timer here at the top. But Cyberpunk 2077 Standard Edition on the PS4, the PS5, the Xbox is currently going for $10. Now, originally it was $40, and they just marked it down $30 and said, who wants Cyberpunk? We're having a hard time just giving these things away, I guess. Now, deal of the day is generally used by these websites to just bring traffic in, but I kind of feel like Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that Best Buy's probably tired of dealing with. Remember, they even took returns on the game. Well, this one, it looks like you would get a steelbook with as well next to the game. I mean, $10, it's not going to get much cheaper than that. I know there's probably someone like, you know what, I'll check back and see if I can get it for $5, but we get to the point where they basically have to just give the game away. And I mean, we've seen some games do that with like Destiny 2, but there are still plans for Cyberpunk 2077 as we go forward into next year. And that's one of the reasons I'm saying $10 might not be a bad pickup right now, especially if you're looking to get a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X this holiday, as we will have, I would assume, a free upgrade for this version of the game. And in fact, they've been talking more and more about different patches that they're releasing that appears to have new content. For example, this was posted up over on Polygon.com. Cyberpunk 2077 patch 1.3 will include DLC and fixes for nearly 100 quests. And while they say no release date is given, it's expected to arrive soon. We can see here Cyberpunk 2077's next big patch, labeled 1.3, is on the way. On Tuesday, developer CD Projekt Red released a complete set of patch notes detailing fixes for 85 quests and gigs, plus improvements and balance changes throughout the game. I want to point out that they've already done hundreds of fixes for quests and bugs and different issues in the games that were found, and they still had to have 85 different fixes here for quests and gigs now, nearly a year after it released. Like I said before, and I feel like it's obvious to everyone, the game was not at all ready to launch, and I still don't recommend picking it up for the PS4 or the Xbox One. In fact, Sony kind of tells you, hey, you want to get this for the PS5 or at the bare minimum, the PlayStation 4 Pro. But right now, the best place to play this game is certainly on a next generation platform like the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. Now, they do mention here that in addition to a lot of those quality of life changes and just fixes overall, the 1.3 patch appears to be a substantial one, where CD Projekt Red is also including a few of what is called free DLCs. They will take the form of additional cosmetic items for the player character, quest options, phone texts, and animations. Several of those DLCs were teased during a Twitch live stream, and a complete list will be included in the main menu under additional content heading. And I think there are plans for CD Projekt to attempt a grand relaunch of this game essentially a year later, as there are plans to have a next-gen version of this game, because remember, we're still using the PS4 and the Xbox One version of this game through backwards compatibility. If the systems, that being the PS5 and the Xbox Series, ended up getting delayed into 2021, say into like March or April, like around the time that the Switch released, these games on the PS4, the Xbox One, those versions of Cyberpunk would have launched, and it would have been like an absolute disaster. It was already really bad, but consider that. Then we wouldn't have any way to play the game well. Yeah, that would have been rough. So I think now at $10, it's not a bad time to pick up Cyberpunk 2077. I know we'll make fun of it a lot, but like $10 for a game that has undergone a ton of fixes at this point, it might be a good time, especially if that update, which we will assume now, is free. If they try to charge for it, that's going to get ugly. So, $10 for Cyberpunk 2077 going into what should be a big relaunch of it for the PS5 and the Series X this holiday isn't bad. But yes, Cyberpunk 2077 has officially hit the clearance bin. It's gone from its full price of $60 all the way down to $10 now, being used as a deal of the day at Best Buy, where I assume they have plenty of these games in stock, as they haven't sold through their allotment here throughout the day today, despite it being a $10 game with the Steelbook, by the way. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Did you already pick up Cyberpunk 2077 when it released, or maybe earlier this year, or maybe when it came back to the PlayStation Store? That happened pretty recently. Or are you thinking about picking it up now for $10 in anticipation of some of the free DLC that they're releasing, as well as the next-gen update? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.